So, number one question, what is music licensing? So, licensing is basically like you're renting your music to other people. So, you keep all the copyrights, but you allow other people to use your property. It's mainly a pursuit for songwriters and composers. So, you can license your songs or instrumentals to other recording artists, or you can make your songs and instrumentals available for licensing on TV shows, films, and games. That's what we call sync licensing, and that's the type of licensing we're going to focus on today. So, question number two, why would you want to license your music in the first place? So when I started doing it, I had a full-time job as a financial auditor, as Dave mentioned. So my big attraction to licensing was that I could do it from home or when I was traveling for work, with a full-time job. I could do it at my own pace. But there's also another big reason to get into music licensing. It's that compared to other options available to us indie musicians, licensing can be extremely lucrative and can generate recurring revenue through royalties, for example. So let me show you exactly how lucrative. Uh, this is taken directly from Songtraders pricing tool, and it's their recommended pricing. So you can see it goes from $200 to $10,000. And I'm showing you this just so you know for sure that the numbers I'm about to tell you about are super conservative and attainable. So let's actually check those numbers. So here I'm comparing like 1 million streams on Spotify, which nets you approximately $3,000, compared to how many sync licenses you need to close to earn the same amount of money. So on the left side, you see different types of licensing projects at a conservative price. For example, a placement on a YouTube video for 20 bucks or an advertisement for $3,000. So you see much lower than the 10,000 recommended by Songtrader. And on the right side, for each type of project, you see how many sales you need to make that same $3,000. Instead of the 1 million streams on Spotify, you just need to close 150 sync licenses with a YouTuber, or only one advertisement, or 3 corporate videos. So this here, again, these are conservative numbers. I really want to show you that this is it's very realistic, not just fancy numbers. Okay, so now that hopefully I got you excited about music licensing, now what do you actually need to get started? The number one thing you need is the music. So 3-4 tracks is actually all you need to start. There's like this big myth around music licensing that you need hundreds or thousands of tracks. That's not true. We have Chuck in the course that we'll tell you a little bit more about him later, but he has 37 songs that he just places through non-exclusive music libraries, and he earns a living licensing his music. And I'll tell you a bit more about non-exclusive libraries as well in a minute. So 3-4 tracks is all you need to get started. You need to register those songs with a PRO before you submit your music to make sure you get those royalties. You also need to be able to export high quality files like WAV files. So when a music library asks you for high quality files, you're able to deliver those. And you also need to be able to provide metadata, so keywords, to identify your tracks and make those appealing to music libraries. And I'll tell you a bit more about that in a few minutes. The second thing you need is you need the right mindset. So with music licensing, I'm sure those who work with Chris already know this. You need that mindset, that courage to send your music out. You also need the determination to keep going, even if you get turned down, because you will get turned down. And you need the patience to do the boring stuff like emailing and researching and email outreach to customers. That's really how you stand out from the competition. And the cool thing with music libraries is that, contrary to setting up a gig, once you've done the hard work, you can actually generate recurring income from those songs and music libraries. But still, you need to put in that hard work up front. So the third thing you need, and that's where this webinar comes in, is you need a plan and a system. So you can take matters into your own hands and make sure people hear your music. So one of my favorite quotes, and this is really what I'm aiming for here, is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, or teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So the purpose of this webinar and the Get Your Music License program is that I want to give you all the tools to get the work done yourself, no matter what genre of music you write in and what your personal situation is. So even if you have kids and a full-time job, this can work for you. And I'm sharing with you a framework that you can really tailor to your specific situation. Because, from experience, all sorts of music get licensed as long as the production quality is up to standards.